Hey everyone, I've been out here toiling away with this truck when I can, still recovering from the ACL surgery, but seem to be able to shuffle around okay. I put the bedsides on over the last couple of days. As I explained in another email, I left the top lip of the metal under here and just cut the sides off. It's a way better way to do it. When you leave the metal strip along the top here, it allows the top of the bed sides to sit on top of that and gives it some strength. If you don't do that, you end up not having much to fasten it onto, and if someone accidentally stands on the side here, it'll break it if you stand in the wrong spot. So I only cut off what I needed to. I didn't go along and drill out all the pot rivets. I left some of the sheet metal on. It just doesn't matter. As long as you cut most of the side off, it'll all just go on just fine. So they seem to fit up pretty well. Trimmed quite a bit of metal off the back here. So I just ran the blade straight through the metal down, pretty much down the contour line down here. It doesn't matter really as long as the fiberglass is going to cover over and be able to be riveted on. I use polyurethane in between. You can see a bit of polyurethane just here. I polyurethaned it on so it's glued on and riveted on. One thing that I did notice that's different than the Fiberworks one is there's no lip on the inside of these fenders. So what I've done is I've cut this off, the inner skirt off, leaving about 50 millimeters or 2 inches of a lip. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put plastic or cardboard up around inside here and then fiberglass it. So it'll be fiberglass from here, where's my finger, there, over there. It'll be fiberglass from here out to the bed sides and probably recessed about 20 millimeters, and that'll stop mud getting all jammed up inside there when I'm driving off-road. So pretty easy to do. I've got some fiberglass there, and that'll give us a nice wheel arch inside. Other than that, just got to cut out the fuel filler. If you cut it out around there, it should just pop in and clip in. As you know, to pull the plastic bit out, you just pull the whole lid and everything out, and it pulls away from the filler cap. It fit good down around here. When you cut this off, if you leave a bit of the lip on there, this mounts up to the lip. So we'll just put some rivets in here where it hit, and it seemed to work really, really well. So that worked good. Worked good on this side as well. You can see here the lip of the fiberglass and the lip of the metal sort of came in slightly, but you don't see that from behind the vehicle. I don't know how the tail lights fit yet. Next week is bodywork on the whole truck. I'm going to find out then how well the tail lights fit. You really want to fit them up and make sure everything's a reasonably loose fit before you go and get it painted. In this case, we're going to get the truck wrapped, so it's going to be wrapped in a quite a bright orange, sort of like Jukes has it orange. So it's going to look pretty sweet. And then I'm going to get the bed liner spray and spray the inside of the bed here, clean that up, and then I've already painted the front tube bumper that I made. It's got a curved light bar under here. I've got a provision and tabs underneath here for a skid plate. What you see under there is just that plastic, or I don't even know what that material is, but it's some sort of vinyl that they use for air ducting. That'll be joint on to this front lower bar here so that it can funnel the air up into the radiator. Everything sort of fit up okay with the front end here. The gap around the doors was really good, so if you set it up to the door gap first, everything worked out quite good. The only thing I regret doing is when we put the hood on, the hood came with pre-drilled holes on both sides, which we used. We didn't really think anything of it. But as time went on and I was starting to fit the fenders and everything up, then I realised that the hood was sort of out of whack over to the passenger side. and that caused everything to be moved over a little bit. It's not much, it's probably 20 millimeters. Won't notice it when the truck is done, but there's certain things that don't quite line up, like the hood didn't quite line up. We've got a bit of a gap here that we're going to fill. There were some gap problems over this side. Managed to get the headlights in okay. Headlights we made brackets up for. I'll show you the brackets. Just sort of made brackets up where they needed to go. You can see the metal bars that I've got in here. The tube bumper bar is mounted on here, 2 places on each side. So yeah, all in all, other than the fact that it was moved over to the passenger side a little bit more than I would have liked, a little bit of bodywork, not much. We're going to get these smooth enough to be able to put the wrap on, and then I'll paint the insert here for the vent, or the fake vent in this case. We'll paint that with the bed liner style stuff as well to give it make it look like it's got a plastic texture to it. So yeah, if you're fitting one of these front ends, it's a little bit of a problem because they pre-drill and thread the hinge bolts, and they may not be in the right place. So be very careful when you go to fit these that you're not too far over that way, as these ones were. The funny thing is that the distance, I'm going to have to put some spacers on here. As you can see, the wheels are in a bit. I think there's about a 2-inch spacer that's going to need to go on there, even with an 1.5 inch further offset than stock Raptor wheels. And of course, it's got all the Raptor suspension in it, Gen 1 stuff. But the funny thing is, even though the hood was moved over to one side, it turns out that the distance from the tyre to the centre of the hub, to the fender to the centre of the hub, is exactly the same on both sides. So maybe the hood just goes over to one side and the fender's a little bit slimmer. I don't know. I've had to gap it down here, had to gap it all the way down on this side a fair bit. And I also had trouble getting the hood on this side to be low enough. It turns out that the thickness of the hood on the inside lip of the fender was a bit of a problem. So I ground out a little bit of the hood, and then that sat down a little bit better. But all in all, this next week is going to be doing some body work and get all this sanded and primed if necessary for the wrap, and filling in any bits that we need to. I'm going to probably get the little router bit here and dig out the vents here so they look like real vents, and then paint this in once the wrap's on. I'll paint this in with the black bed liner style paint. So it's going to look pretty sweet. Bedsides on. I'll come back a little bit to show you the front end. Now the grille, it's interesting that the 15 to 20 Raptors continued on with the smaller headlights, the headlight with the smaller thing in the bit of body in between the headlights. So if you've got a later model truck like a 2019 or 2020 Ford F-150 and you want to put a Raptor kit on it, like with this kit in particular, with the more proper Raptor shaped fenders, you would have to need to use an OEM hood or an aftermarket copy of a OEM hood. You'd need to use the earlier grille, so the 15 to 17 grille, because that's the grille that carried right through to 20. And then you'd have to get the earlier headlights, which are these ones, the 15 to 17 headlights. Not too much of a problem. You could probably move your other stuff on pretty easy anyway, like selling front end stuff to a crash place would be pretty easy. People crash them up, need a whole front end, so I wouldn't worry too much about having to move the parts on. That'd be easy enough. But all in all, a few little things to straighten out on the front, but this next week's going to be a matter of putting the bed on the back. I've got 2 more doors for the back because the doors are damaged on this truck, so we're going to put a couple of other doors on, straighten everything out, and then hopefully the week after next wrap it, and the truck will be pretty much done. On my other truck, the diesel 2019 Raptor, which is not really a Raptor, it was a stock truck with the Raptor stuff on it. One issue was that when I bought the truck, I had to buy it from out in Alberta, and it was $20,000 cheaper from out in Alberta. But it was what they had in stock, so to be able to get that truck with the 502A package, I wasn't able to order it with a locking diff or a limited slip, or even the gearing that I wanted, because I'm going to be running 37-inch tyres on it. So I needed to re-gear the diff, and then of course the diff isn't wide enough, so I got 3-inch spacers on it. So there's a whole lot of reasons. I ended up just buying a Raptor Diff off LKQ. It came out of the States, and this one's got the push button locker, which is, luckily it's only 2 wires, so just join that up to a switch and a relay to turn that on and off. It's 3 inches wider on each side, and all the brakes and everything just bolt straight on. So it's a direct bolt in with 4-1 gears, which will bring my gearing right back to what it would have been stock with the smaller tyres on. And then in that other truck also, we're going to change the gears out in the front. We got new gears for the front here, 4-1s of course, reverse rotation fronts, a fitting kit, and I also have a Torsen diff out of a 8.8-inch diff which they have in the front of the F-150. So we're going to change that out on the other truck. So it's got 4-1 gears front and back, and when it's in auto mode it's not going to screw things up. But later in the week I'll be able to have all the body finished off, and I'll do another quick video on it and the preparation that we're doing for the wrap. And I may even pull the windshield out of this truck because it's broken anyway. I need to replace it, and it's going to be better to do the wrap and tuck it right down around the screen. So we'll get into that next week. For now, enjoy.